Good morning. Today I am going to talk about the great Indian dilemma between privatization and nationalization. The case study which I am going to take today is about the Vodafone-Idea interest shown by its stakeholder Mr.Kumarmangalam Birla to give his stake to any public sector enterprise, which means there is a interest, there is a request, desperate need for nationalization of Vodafone-Idea Limited, which is VIL, because of its exorbitant debt and unable to raise fresh capital to run its day-to-day operations. The Vodafone Idea, which has closer to 50,000 plus crores of dues in terms of aggregated gross revenue, which has to be paid to the Department of Telecommunications or Govt of India. Earlier, when the original formula for paying the spectrum dues was, they used to have a license fee system. Later, the telecom companies were not able to follow the pattern of a yearly license fee system, and they pleaded for, they appealed to the government to have a fresh formula of share of revenue, which the government and both of them have agreed for share in the aggregated gross revenue of the telecom companies. Over a long time, the formula was going on very smooth. Later they said no, the government is making some miscalculations in the aggregated gross revenue, because they are not sticking on only to the profits earned by the revenue generated by the telecom companies, but it is taking into consideration the interest income, dividend income and other income of the telecom companies, and that's why the formula is disputable, and they have raised this issue with the Govt of India, and Govt of India later referred the issue to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court started sticking with the formula worked out by the Department of Telecommunications. So all these telecommunication companies were supposed to pay a share in that aggregated gross revenue to the Govt of India, but one of the major company which has failed to meet its requirement is the Vodafone Idea, which is closer to 58,000 crores, of which they have paid around 7,000 plus crores, and still more than 50,000 crores is supposed to be paid by these telecom companies. However, the Supreme Court of India has given a 10 years moratorium period to pay the dues in a deferred payment schedule. Even that they could not able to meet out this particular formula worked out by the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has asked them to pay 10% of the dues upfront, so that they agree with the new schedule worked out by the repayment schedule worked out by the apex court. But even then they could not able to meet the schedule, and now Mr. Kumarmangalam Birla, who is a major stakeholder in Vodafone-Idea Limited, has written a letter to the Cabinet Secretary, Govt of India, not to the Department of Telecommunications, but to the Cabinet Secretary itself, stating that he is ready to surrender his stake to any public sector enterprise, to any person for that matter, so that the company can be rescued. Company can be by Govt of India or by any model whatsoever it may be, and he wanted the company to Vodafone Idea's operations to go on without any disturbance. But my students and listeners, what I insist is that the dues is not just with the AGR which is supposed to be paid to Govt of India, but if you consider the total dues for a debt of Vodafone Idea, it works out to almost 1,80,000 crores, and if the losses, accumulated losses of this particular year is taken into consideration, it has crossed almost to 2,10,000 crores, which is beyond imaginary limits, and I don't think there is any incentive for the Govt of India to rescue Vodafone Idea, because the earnings is and the net worth is very limited. It's not even a few thousand crores, but their debt is more than 2 lakh crores. This is a big issue which I wanted to highlight. On one side, a big corporate, which is Vodafone-Idea Limited, and the important stakeholder is asking for almost nationalization of the corporate sector, quoting two reasons. One is like the jobs they have created and the foreign investment which has flown into this particular company, which means like for these two reasons they are trying to and also they are telling that no, if Vodafone Idea is not rescued, only two major players will be there. One is Jio and another is Bharti Airtel, and so there will be like say almost like a monopoly operation in the telecom sector. These are the issues which they are which they are raising and trying to convince Government of India to bail out Vodafone Idea. But this is the if Government of India comes forward to bail out this, there would be a big burden on Government of India to the extra lakhs of crores, because this is a highly debt-ridden company, and it is pure failure of their governance model. That's it. On the other side, what I wanted to highlight is that the same Government of India, when it in the recent last budget speech, our Finance Minister Madam Nirmala has announced that they are trying to privatize public sector banks, which has huge business operations, which if you consider it's a lakhs and lakhs of crores of business, which and a lot of service to the society, to the priority sector, to the in terms of Jandan accounts, in terms of farm loans, in terms of student loans, in many priority sector activities they are into. The Government of India is trying to privatize two public sector banks. So what I insist is that if you look at the reason for privatization of public sector banks, it is almost like the Government of India wanted to raise 1.7 lakh crores for to meet its fiscal deficit, fiscal requirements. So on one side there is an appeal by a corporate leader, stakeholder, to nationalize almost like junk Vodafone Idea telecom company, which has a debt of 1,80,000 crores. On the other side, there is a Government of India initiative to privatize public sector banks for raising almost 1.7 lakh crores. Can you, if you closely watch these two, I could sense that there is a absolute mismanagement, misunderstanding of the concept of corporate restructuring, where when there is a need for protecting the public sector, the government's intention as well as the particularly the industry bodies, industry players, major well-renowned industrialists, even financial newspapers for that matter, they support privatization. Whereas when it comes to the corporate sector, when they absolutely fail for their misgovernance and they when there is a dire need to pay back to the dues to the Government of India, they say government has to rescue, bail out and nationalize a debt-ridden company, almost a junk corporate entity. So now that's why I classify this as a great Indian nationalization versus privatization dilemma, which Government of India, there is a need for Government of India to take a wise decision at this point of time, because I always insist there are certain entities which need to be protected in the public sector, but however this protection should not go to junk, almost a debt-ridden Vodafone Idea deal. Government should not involve in this. Let the privatization process, I mean the private sector, whatever it comes, let it take its own toll. Need not bother about the job that is created by Vodafone, or the foreign investment which has gone into the came into Vodafone Idea entity for that matter. Let it go to whatever liquidation path is possible, because Government of India should stay away in involving in this issue of bailing out or otherwise. The second alternative which I would suggest is that if at all nationalization, Government of India can consider merging it with the BSNL, the entire operations of Vodafone Idea with BSNL for that matter, so that yes, there will be a lot of the process will force the Government of India to absorb a lot of debt of Vodafone Idea, but however, That can be, like say, by liquidating all the assets of Vodafone-Idea to freezing all the investments in this in our country. Capital can be transferred, whatever that is possible can be recovered, and the dues left out can be, like say, Supreme Court has given 10-year moratorium period for repayment of the dues. The Government of India can keep a schedule for the merged entity, I mean the nationalizing, after nationalizing this assets of Vodafone-Idea, merging it with BSNL, and then to give a, like say, a fix a target for for the new entity to through their business operations to recover in the form of revenues which the new entity is going to raise for in the future, for example 15-year or 20-year period. This could be the this is only a suggestion from my side. What I insist is that yes, government should take a stand. Which sector has to be privatized, which sector has to be bailed out, which sector has to be nationalized. Thank you for your listening. If you are happy with this presentation, you can subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.